Alright, Lockdown Knowledge Boost Foundation 2. We've got our angle problem again, similar to last week. We're going to I'm just going to fill in whatever values we can. So we've got 134, using the same rule as last week. This whole angle there is going to be 134, because alternate angles are equal. And we need to start filling in some others. So what else can we get with that 134 here? Angles at a point add up to 180. So if they add up to 180, this one is leaving me with 46 degrees. Other information that's given to us, these little lines mean that is an isosceles triangle. They're the same length. It wouldn't give you that information if you weren't going to use it. So that means that in an isosceles triangle, these two base angles at the bottom there, they use a different colour. So that one and that one there, those are equal. So if that's 46, both of those two are equal. We're going to be dividing 134 by 2 to get 67. So both of those are 67 because base angles in an isosceles triangle are equal. So we've given all our reasons. The last step, if that one's 67 and that whole one we showed is 134, that must mean that x is 67 as well. So I've just taken 67 away from 134 to get 67 as our answer. I knew that because we'd just divided those by 2 to get it there. Okay. Next one's slightly different to last week. It gave us the two shapes and asked us to write the vector. Last week, this time we're actually doing the drawing. So similar method though. If you pick a corner, just put a little X on the diagram, or do it in the answer space even. Put an X on the corner, and we're going to move that -3, 3. Just noticed I've cut off part of my squares there, so I will use this one here. Hopefully yours were complete. We're going to go -3, 3. So the -3, remember, the top number is what you're moving in your X. So along horizontally, if it's -3, we're going to go to the left. So 1, 2, 3. And the bottom number is whether I go up or down, it's positive. So I'm going up. 1, 2, 3. So that X is now there. And you can repeat that step with every corner, every vertex of the shape. But I know what the shape looks like. I know that when I'm translating it, it doesn't change. So I'm then going to draw my shape there. So I've got 4 lengths along the bottom, 2 high, 2 there in the middle. So I can draw that shape. And that's the translated shape. So it's going to be moving 3 along, 3 up. You can check with any other corner. If we go there, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All corners have moved the same. Question 3. I made a right mess of this last week, so if you managed to spot that I didn't know how to add 2 numbers, well done. Hopefully I'll get this one right this time. So we're using the formula given to you last week. It's the average of the 2 parallel sides. So we're going to do 7 plus 10. We're dividing that by 2. And then we're multiplying that by the perpendicular height, which is given to us, which is 4. Now this number here is given to try and confuse us. We don't need that at all. We just need the 2 sides that are parallel and the perpendicular height. So that's my calculation for the area. So that's going to be 17 divided by 2 times by 4. If we're going to divide something by 2 and then times it by 4, well, that's just the same as timesing it by 2. So I'm going to do 17 multiplied by 2 to work out the value, which is going to be 34. And question 4. Oh, remember on the last one, just missed out. We're working out area. Let's make sure we get our units, centimetres squared, because we've given to us in centimetres and it's area, so we're going to put squared. The next one's area again. Area of a circle, we know is pi r squared. We've been given this time the length throughout the whole thing, so we've been given the diameter, so we need to half that first. So we're going to have pi times by 11 over 2 all squared. Get the calculator. So that's 95.03 centimetres squared. Question 5 is Pythagoras again. So following the same process that we went through last week, we've got the two shorter sides given to us again. Always check what you've been given. So we've been given the shorter sides there. Remember, the longest side is opposite your right angle. So I'm still going to be squaring both of these and adding them together. So 30 squared plus 12 squared equals our x squared. Put those into the calculator. 30 squared is 900, 12 squared 144. We're going to add those together. And that is still our x squared. So to get what x is, remember last time we're going to use our square root button on the calculator. Can you find it? Half the buttons are rubbed off. And write out that number. It doesn't tell us to give it to so many decimal places or anything like that, but we can just round it. So we've got 32.310988. I'm just going to call it 32.3. It's in centimetres, and that's to 1 decimal place. Question 6. I'm going to use my paper just because we've got quite a few parts to this. Make sure you answer them all. We're going to list out our numbers. So for the mean, we're going to add them all together and divide it by how many there are. So we've got 5 plus 7 plus 3 plus 5 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 2 is 49. Divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which is 6.125. The mode, going to look for any repeats. We've got, this time we've got 2 5s. Check if anything else is repeated. There's no more 7s, no more 3s, no more 8s, no more 9s, no more 2s. So because there's got 2 5s, 5 is our mode, that's repeated, none of the others are. Most frequent one. Next one is a median. Remember, we'll put these in order of size. So we've got 2, 3, 5, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I had 8 then, good. And then we want our middle value. So slightly different to last week because we've got an even number. Your middle is going to be in between those. Count along just to double check. We've got 4 that side and 4 that side. So our median is in between these two numbers. So by looking at those, we can see the number in between 5 and 7 is 6. So my median is 6. That's not just my working. If it wasn't obvious what number it is, you can add those two together and divide by 2. So 5 plus 7 gives me 12, divide that by 2 gives me 6. So to work each with their midpoint. I don't need to do there, 6 is fine. Then your range, I do range after median if it's asked for both, because we've already put them then. Got our smallest number, our biggest number. 10 minus 2 gives us 8. So you've got those 4 sections, your mean, your mode, your median, and your range. Loads of knowledge and marks there. If we can do these each week, really going to be boosting our test scores. Moving over to the other side, got our two-way table again. This time, no, we don't have to fill in the information. That caught a few people out, certainly I taught last time. This time it's given to us, so we're just using addition and subtraction to figure out what those values are. So just look for where you have a gap. You can fill any, it's quite a few of these in different orders, so just start to go. So we've got travelling by car, year 9, year 10, 16 in total. So number 6 is going to go there in year 10. I've also got 8 and 7 do it by bus, so if I can add those together, get 15. I can add all these values together. I could do 6 plus 7 plus 5 is 18. Double check along the way, does that work? Does it give me this number? And it does, so I'm confident I got that right. What else can we do? Going along here, so 10 plus 8 is 18. We want to make it up to 24, so that must be 6. Adding those two together gives me 11, and again double check. Adding each of these up, that would be 26, 30, 42. So I'm happy. Each of those rows adds up. I'm confident I've got those right. Pie chart. Similar to last time, we need to work out the fraction of each of these frequencies. So let's work out our total. If we add all those up, we're going to get 25, 50, 70, 90. Again, that's a nice number. Remember, we're trying to get 360 for how many degrees we'll use for each section. We know that 90 is a right angle, so we're timesing that by 4 to get 360. So I'm going to multiply every one of these by 4 to get what the size of my angle. So it turns out by 4 we get 80, 20, 60, 100 and 100, which gives me 360. And we've got to draw each of those again. I'll do this a little bit quicker probably than last time. If you're not sure, you can ask your teacher to go through and show you how to use this, but I made a mess of that the first time that I did it. I wasn't careful enough drawing my angles, so I'm going again. So key points, remember you've got to line it up right. My final angle didn't fit the first time I did it, so I knew I made a mistake. So I had to rub out and go again. I've gone from the centre to 0. The first one I'm drawing is 80. I won't rush this one. That's England. And the next one is France. For 20. The next one is Ireland for 60. That's Scotland for 100. Make sure it lines up, I don't have to do this again. 100. I'm hoping this time this leaves me with 100. Yeah, that one lines up, so I've got Scotland in there and Wales. That's why we use a pencil when we do it. It's so easy just to get. If you wouldn't degree out, usually they're fine, and you've got that little bit of tolerance. But if you do a couple of them, rush them and make a mistake, then your last one's not going to be anywhere near, as I just found out. So question 9, we're still with our bar charts, so simple graphs, and working out different information from there. It tells us that we have the information of 20 friends. So I know that my total frequency is 20. It might not have given us that. We might have had to add those up, but it's fine. It's told us. And of each of the ages, so there's going to be quite a bit to put into my calculator really for this, because remember, for your mean you need to add them all up and divide them by the total. So we could add each one. Got two ways we could go. We've got 5 18s, so you could do 18 plus 18 plus 18. Get the idea, so on and so forth all the time, but I'm going to have to do that for 5 19s, I'm going to have to do it for 7 20s, I'm going to have to then add on a 21, add on a 22, add on a 23. Fine, you will get that total, but there's a better way, because if we've got 5 lots of 18, we could just total up each of our columns. So if I've got 18 times by 5, like if you've had a frequency table, I can work that one out. I'll put these into my calculator in a second. I've got 19 times by 5 to get the total of that column. I've got 20 times by 7, work out the total of that column, and then I've got just one of each of the others. So I'll just write those in. I could write 21 times 1, and 2 times 1, so you can see where they're from. Hopefully you followed that. So if I get a total of each of these, there are 5 people who are 18, so I'm multiplying those together to get the total age of that column. 19 times by 5 gives me the total age of that column. 20 times by 7 gives me the total age of that column. We need the total of all of them, so I'm going to sum all this up. 90 plus 95 plus 140 plus 21 plus 22 plus 23, 391. Now remember, it told us at the start how many we had. We had 20 originally, so I'm going to do 391 divided by 20. That will give me my mean. Just get in the calculator at 19.55. Just double check, does that make sense? It's easy to make a mistake with these, so if you didn't have the right totals here, or if you just added up those and divided by 5, or made, if you made some sort of mistake like that, just have a double check, does that make sense for the information we've got? Most of the information is at this end, so 20 or lower. We've got a couple that are a little bit higher, so you'd expect your mean to be around that value, which it is. So I'm happy that that should be correct. Next one, question 10. This time, so it explains quite a lot of text, but it's just really explaining what's going on here for the table. Sometimes you may have to create your own table. I know on the exam paper that you did last week, there was one where you had to fill in some of the values using prime numbers, square numbers, and then complete the grid. So this is an example of those. This question just tells us that we've got the different numbers out of the bag. It's told us what they are and it's listed there. That's all that text is telling you. The two numbers are multiplied together to give a score. So we're just multiplying all these together. That one times by that one, that one times by that one, that one times by that one, and carrying that on. 3, 6, 15, 4, 8, 20. That's it. Last one, very similar to what we did last week, just changing the numbers. So we've got the relative frequency is 0.4. Remember, we use that probability, multiply it by the amount of times that we have. 0.4 times by 20 gives us 8 times. And that's the end of week 2. Good luck for the next week, and hopefully we've seen that we're improving week by week, and we're remembering more and more of these key skills which are examined a lot, and when we come round to do them, you'll have remembered much more. Alright.